What you're about to watch is a special private training session for people who bought a copy of my book, Built to Serve. Enjoy. Hey!
There he is!
Insiders, how are we doing? This is freestyle. So have you guys got questions? What do you got? How can I help?
Right. You might remember that the first time we met, we worked on my one word.
Mhm.
Then later, I met with Zane. Then in the same call, you've mentioned that I should also work on my credo.
Mhm.
That's something I haven't narrowed down as much yet. Where do I start fine-tuning or at least defining my credo?
A good starting point, honestly, is the exercises to figure out your one word, right? So when you're going through
Right.
your who, when you answer the questions of what did you learn from your parents, what's your favorite movie of all time, all of those questions, right? Your favorite teacher. Did you do the exercises of writing down the 3 words for each people?
As I remember when those questions were asked, it narrowed me down to my now one word, compassion. But I'm not sure if compassion is too big a word that I'm
Well, that there's a whole section in the book on that. Is this too big a word? It's supposed to be something that, I mean, I was the same way. Who am I to be the believe guy? It's supposed to be ambitious. It's supposed to be something beyond you. But so I would reread that section. It's only a couple pages on like, is it too big? Because it shares, my fears and insecurities around belief. And it happens every time. Everybody is the same thing. Like, who am I to be the person who does this? I need to niche down. Like, no. It's supposed to be something big. That's the whole point. Because there's always another level. If it's compassion, there's always another level of compassion. Always. Like, you're never done being compassionate. And every next step is going to be on the other side of even more compassion. Like, how can you have even more? Even if people said, Fernando, you're always so compassionate. It's like, I'm just getting started. There's 100 more layers of compassion that I still need to bust through. But in Built to Serve, there's the 5 essential questions. And the exercise is you answer the 5 questions, and then you have to write down 3 words for each of the 5 questions. So you should get 15 words at the end of that exercise. And
Yep, I narrowed it a bit. The 3 words or the 3 phrases I am drawn to is compassion as power, compassion as mission,
okay.
and the other one, I feel like it's copying, but hashtag compassion. So I'm pretty much stuck there. I'm not sure if I go with compassion as mission, compassion as power, or just hashtag compassion.
Well, hashtag compassion is at the top. It's for everybody. Like your who is at the top. Hashtag compassion is at the top. But then how do you show compassion? So you show compassion. Usually there's something self, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you most likely need to have more compassion for yourself.
Right.
Not just something out. We tend to default to outward focus, but you need to have more compassion with yourself. I need to believe more in myself as a starting point, right? So more self-compassion. And whatever you guys all picked, it's always something, right? You've picked something powerful, but you need it. You still need it yourself. Everybody, you all need it yourselves. Great. And then how do you want to share it with the world? If it's to your mission, if compassion equals power. The easiest way to think about it is if you go back to that list of the 15 words you came up with, a lot of the words on that list, compassion going to come up 3-4 times, but a lot of the words on that list are going to also be the sons and daughters of compassion, which is the whole point. That's what your credo is. So I would revisit that exercise. In fact, here's some homework. Do the exercise again. Go back to, Zen, you know what page it is?
Page 31.
Go to page 31. Look at that. Then on the ball. We love it. 5 essential questions, page 31. Answer those 5 questions again. Okay. You need 3 words for each one, and you're not allowed to use compassion in there. Okay. So compassion is already at the top. We already know it's hashtag compassion. Great. Now answer those questions again, 15 words, and you're not allowed to use compassion. And then see what comes up. And the ones that are repeated the most are the ones that you want to think about for your credo.
Okay, and can I add?
All right, thank you
Fernando,
very much. Sure thing.
Do everything that Evan said. If you do what he just said, that word means so much to me, compassion. If you do that right after this call, I will schedule more time with you to work on that compassion piece.
Wow. All right.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Zane always bringing the extra value. Cool. What else you guys got? How can I help?
Michelle here. This is super exciting. You're live. This is right. Pinch me. Oh, you're so fun. I think that's one of the key things, right? Is to have fun.
Yeah. I mean, the number one rule for success, again, that I keep seeing over and over and over again is that you love what you do. But inside of that, it's got to be fun. Like part of loving what you do is making it fun. Everybody has their own version of humor, but if you are actually excited, like when I see this in my calendar, it's like, hey, it's going to be great coming on talking to you guys. People who've read the book, want to take it to the next level. It's fun.
Exactly. Yeah. Super exciting. Evan, I haven't read the book just yet. I've got it sitting out. It's scheduled for my fall read. Okay. And question, how did you come up with Believe? Like what, can you give us a little bit of backstory that how you came with your word? I mean, you've been using that for a while now, right?
Yeah. I wish I had the book to make it faster. I guess that's why we write books, is you're trying to teach people the things, the lessons that took you a long time to learn, and people can pick it up pretty quickly. So even the advice we just gave to Fernando, I wish I had for myself, so it would have made my path a lot faster. But for me, I was looking at my website at the time, and I felt like I needed a different slogan. I couldn't figure out what my slogan for my website was going to be. That's how it started. It wasn't like some big giant core purpose or anything. It's just I don't like my slogan, and I bounced between a lot of different slogans. I used, like McDonald's used to have how many billions of people served. So I would put how many people I had helped through my website. But nothing ever felt right. And then I was sitting on that for months. So like I tried whole different taglines back and forth, and it felt right for like 2 days. And then the more I looked at it, the less I liked it. So like, okay, well, then it's not the right thing. You got to move on. And I really struggled with it. And I talked to friends about it, and nobody could really tell me what it was. And that's part of the game. Like this is an inside game. Nobody can actually tell you what, like I can't tell Fernando his one word is compassion. Like you have to come, you can give guidance, but at the end of the day, you have to figure it out. I went to go watch a Steve Jobs movie, and that inspired me.
Which movie?
The Jobs. It's just called Jobs, the Steve Jobs movie.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, it inspired me. I came back and I said, I like Believe. What about Believe? And it felt, I liked it at first. And then almost immediately, to Fernando's point, I was like, oh my gosh, Believe is too big. I can't be the Believe guy. There's so much Believe, So then I started playing with it, and I made a list of all the things that I could put, like believe in yourself, believe in entrepreneurs, believe in, like I made a giant list. I think the list might even be in my first book, Your One Word. I think I even included the list of what all my initial thoughts were around it. And nothing resonated. So I came back the next day, and I just said, okay, I don't know, Believe. I like Believe. I'm going to go with Believe. And then it led to me thinking, well, is this crazy? Like before building an entire business around it, I just made a newsletter on it. So small tests, right? I just made a newsletter about Believe, and it ended up being the best newsletter I had written in the past couple of years in terms of people responding and giving feedback. And I remember my younger sister wrote back and said, hey, I really like your newsletter. This is great. And it's like, well, what about all the other ones that I wrote? But it wasn't that Believe was magical. It's just that it's magical for me. So then the next thing is I made a video on Believe. And the best video I had at the time had 100,000 views in a year. And I was so proud of that video. And then we made the Believe video and it got 100,000 views in a month and quickly became my best video. And now it's got 2 or 3 million views on the video. And so everything I touched seemed to be better when it incorporated Believe. But I didn't just go all in on it because I was insecure and didn't know, and there was no model for it. And it sounded crazy. You're going to build your whole business around one word. It's nuts. And I realized that what started off as a business slogan became more of a personal mission. It's like, instead of thinking about my mission for my business, it's no, this has to be my mission for Evan Carmichael that then I bring to my business. And that shift made a big difference for me, is that I am Believe and I'm bringing Believe to my company as opposed to what does my business stand for. So after the newsletter worked and after the video worked, and I just started going, just increasing how much I did around Believe. And then I wrote Your One Word because I wanted to go find other businesses that had done it. Like, am I the only crazy person who's built a business around one word? That seems nuts. So then I went out and found businesses from 50,000 in revenue, like full-time income, to millions in revenue. And I found 5 different businesses and I went to interview them about how they found their one word. And I tried to create a blueprint for building a business around one single core value. And that was Your One Word. Built to Serve became the next version of it, where we go through who I have, where it's, okay, that's your core value, your who, but then the why and the how goes deeper into finding your passion, and then turning it into something that helps people, and then turning it into something that makes you money as well. So that's a quick take on the origin story. I don't remember what's in Built to Serve versus what's in Your One Word about the background, but hopefully that helps. Zen says 145 successful people enjoy the process. I like it.
Thanks so much, Evan. Appreciate that share.
Michelle. And happy reading. You're about to go on an adventure. It's going to be some fun stuff. Looking forward to hearing the updates.
Super excited. Thank you.
Cool.
Hey, Evan.
Hey, Bonnie.
I'm working on my sales page today.
Yeah.
Finishing it. So I'm just wondering, I'm following some advice from Zan, of course. And then I found a template to help me structure it a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, Mary. And I'm wondering if you have any maybe tips that aren't like I wouldn't find online, or I wouldn't find another thing, or something special that you do that's been extra helpful or worked for you, I guess is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, the biggest thing, especially at the start, is still going to be your story. It's still going to be how well you can get your message out. And just when you're making the video, actually trying to remember that you're talking to a human, not talking to a camera. If you can get out of the and I know it's a sales page, and it needs to be, but get out of the, I need to sell this person and I'm just talking to a camera. I get into, this is somebody, especially, I mean, your course is on anxiety, right? So somebody who's like stressed out to the max, full of anxiety, and you're here to help them. Your story is fantastic, but how you share it really depends about the intention when you show up. If you were talking to somebody face to face and you knew they had a lot of anxiety, you're going to show up with so much compassion, to use Fernando's word. And it's not that you won't otherwise, but it's sometimes hard when you're talking to a camera. So you have to really imagine that you're talking to somebody, because more important than the headline or you probably have all that. You got a headline, you have to have testimonials, but the most important thing is you. People are buying into you and your story and how you can help them. And they have to feel like you actually care about them. And I know you do. And everybody cares about their audience if you're, in this group. But it's hard when you get in front of the camera and start recording, because you're so worried about, I need to get the content out and I got to remember this line and how many modules is it and how long I've been talking for, and trying to memorize all the different details. Especially in the first few minutes, the heart has to be there. Like, you need to be able to watch it back and feel like you really gave it. And I've done that with videos. I remember when I was filming my first videos and I would give them to my agent. Maybe not my first videos, but like as I was getting better, I would send some videos to my agent. And there were days when I was really feeling like, oh my gosh, this is going to help so many entrepreneurs. I love this, so valuable. And there are other days where it's like, I'm too stressed out about, I need to get 12 videos done today. I need to get them recorded. And it's like, okay, yes, I checked it off, but the emotion wasn't there as much. So going through the content, I know you're filming all of that, and that's fantastic. And the modules are great for teaching, but especially the sales video is uber important, because if they don't feel the connection or the heart from you there, nothing else matters. And that's probably the most important piece. Like, even if all you had was a video and then a buy now button underneath, that's the single biggest thing that will move people to want to buy from you.
Okay, that's fair. And you're right that the whole looking at the camera thing has been my downfall through all of this. Like, I really have to try to ignore the camera.
Yeah, and honestly, to help, it may be do 30 takes of it until you start to feel like this is what will happen. You will say the wrong words, but you will feel the right way. At the beginning, You're saying all the right words, but you're feeling the wrong way. And it's not that the feeling is like with a negative intent, but the feeling is on the camera and the lighting and did you say the right thing and the offer and trying to memorize everything. So you're saying the right words, but you're feeling the wrong way. And when you actually get in the flow, you should not even remember what you said, but it just felt so great. Right? And
that's how it was when I was writing originally, actually. I'm reading back some of the content. I'm like, wow, that was really good. Where did that come from?
Yeah, well, that's what you need to get to. I mean, ideally for everybody in all of your content, that's what you need to get to. When I'm doing an interview and then somebody says, it happens almost every week, or somebody then says, hey, can you repeat that? What did you say? Like, I don't remember what I said, because we're flowing, right? Because it's not a memorized thing. It's like, this was a moment, right? So that's where you need to get to. And that's a feeling, like when you feel, oh man, I left my heart on the table there. I have no idea what I said. If you've already felt it with the writing, you need to now recapture that feeling with the video. And it might take you 30 times of starting and stopping and starting and stopping, or just keep repeating or keep going over it. Maybe you memorize the first sentence, and until you start to feel it. And then don't stress about, you will miss something. You'll forget to say how much it costs. You'll forget to say how to buy. You'll forget, it doesn't matter. Like, all those perfect scripts are great, but if you're not delivering them with the right feeling, it doesn't matter. So every time, I used to do this on stage when I was doing speaking gigs. I'd have a memorized speech because I'd be too afraid of disappointing people and like saying the wrong thing, or I'd go to a PowerPoint so that I would always have my footing to know what was coming up next. And then I challenged myself. My first keynote was in Paris, where I did no slides, like one slide. I was the headline. I was the last person to close the show. And I said, I'm going to do 45 minutes, no slides. But the way I did it was I memorized the whole speech. So I practiced until it was basically the whole thing memorized, which still that's not great either. Right. But that gave me the confidence to say, hey, I can at least do a speech without having the slides to guide me all the time. And it just evolved to say, I'm going to show up for these people. And what really helps is like looking at people in the audience. And now when I do a speech, I know what I'm going to talk about. Like, who's my audience? Am I talking about YouTube? I'm talking about entrepreneurship, talking about salsa dancing, so there's some context, but the most important thing is getting into the zone to want to help these people out. So yeah, all of this stuff helps. Everything you're researching, and templates and landing pages and call to action and flashing buttons and yellow instead of green buy buttons and like all that stuff you can test, but it's easy to get lost in the minutia of all of that stuff and then feel overwhelmed. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy and complicated. We're really, if you had just a kick-ass video and a buy now button underneath, and that's it on the entire page, that's the biggest point of leverage that you have.
Okay, that was super helpful, because one of the things Zan and I discussed, and actually a while ago, is like I can't stand those the sales pages where you have to literally scroll for like 30 seconds straight just to find out what the point is and how much it costs. And I don't want to create that same feeling for my potential clients.
Yeah.
Where it's a hassle to figure out what it is. And so I'm also fairly straight to the point with most things, like no BS, no fluff. And that's how my my program's being run.
Yep.
So I want that to be reflected in the page. So that was super helpful because I'm following a template just to get the basics. And Zan also was talking to me about getting into that feeling, but I'm glad you also explained it.
Yeah. Just imagine
the other parts of it.
I need to take off after this, but Zane will continue to show. But just super quick, imagine somebody's coming and they're filled with anxiety and they've tried a million different things, tried a million different books, a million different courses, listened to a million different podcasts, tried a million different drugs. Like they've tried everything and nothing helped them and nothing's working and they want to give up. But then for some reason, they said, maybe this is the one, but they don't want to be fooled again. And they don't want to go back down the hole, but maybe like this moment where maybe this is a thing that can help me. Speak to that person, right? You speak to that person from your heart. You'll not just like convert them to sales, but you'll help them because I know the content in your course is really, really helpful. If you want to get a copy of Built to Serve and join us live for our next training with me to ask your questions, you can go get the book right there next to me, right there. I'll see you there. I'll see you to get the book. It's a good one. Much love.